This beautiful e-bike is made in Italy, has very light construction and promises up to 100 kilometers autonomy per battery charge. And we want to experience everything important about it. So let's inspect. Hey everybody, good to meet you. I'm Michael. Over here we inspect a lot of cool and fresh tech. It's been a while since the last time I've tested an e-bike. Well, probably not that long. A few weeks ago with the engine X by Engve. And this here is totally different. That's a road e-bike coming from a European company promising to offer pretty decent components, very good service, and also decent performance. And whether that's being delivered by the NOKOURBAN, and which are its strong and weak sides, how about the unboxing, the initial setup, and the overall performance, this is what we find out in this episode. Noko is still a very young brand, and I hope that their awesome team is going to continue to be as enthusiastic, because cycling is a passion and we really need to see passionate people constructing e-bikes, because they're quite specific. There are a lot of competitors in this niche, from small boutique brands to huge companies like the popular Specialized and Cube, and of course a serious push from China in order to get decent market share with e-bikes and very aggressive pricing. Something that currently the NOKOURBAN will not match because of the high-end components being used. To show you my complete experience, here is how it all started. This is the pack of the bike, and honestly, I was not mentally prepared for such a big box. Luckily, not that heavy. Because of that, I decided this time to actually pull the bike up. NOKOURBAN arrives well packed and more or less fully assembled, wrapped in bubble folio so that you wouldn't get any scratches, and there also is a smaller box with accessories. It was kind of stuck in my case, but you know, I managed to get it out. The so-called welcome kit hosts the pedals, some light accessories, you even get chain grease and tools. What is important to highlight here is that the quality of accessories looks to be alright. Of course, if you look for something to criticize, it would definitely be the slightly older charging connector used for the front and the rear lights, just micro USB. The only tasks that you have to complete prior to riding is to remove the protective folios, fix and tighten the handlebar, and mount the pedals. Good idea is to double check the tire pressure and charge the battery to full, which are anyways tasks that have to be completed prior to riding each and every e-bike. You can already notice the unique greenish color. There are black, blue, orange and red variations. There also are two options for the handlebar, completely flat or this riser option, and the wheels, which can be aluminium or carbon made, with the latter choice reducing the overall weight by a few hundred grams. NOKOURBAN indeed looks beautiful. It feels like a well-built bike, and while mounting the last bits of the parts, I was pleasantly surprised by the grade of quality and the attention to the smallest details. Therefore, let's quickly go over the main technical specifications and get to discuss the riding experience afterwards. Besides the custom-made in Italy frame in 3 different sizes, you're going to find thin and lightweight road bike tires. Battery is 500 watt-hours with Samsung-made cells. It's powered by FSA motor in the rear wheel, has a 5-grade pedal assistance system. Additionally, there's the SRAM Apex 11-speed system, hydraulic disc brakes, FSA crankset, a stand, and overall weight between 14 and 70 kilograms depending on the size and the materials configuration. Did you notice something while we were talking about the specs? The fact that each and every component is really well described, and that's mostly visible on Noko's official website. And I'm saying this because many e-bike manufacturers are trying to stay away from being that precise about descriptions, especially Chinese e-bikes. They would say you've got a 7-speed Shimano setup, and then you receive a Shimano Tourney, which is not really great in terms of performance. Speaking of parts and components, the setup here is rather mid-range, which I believe very well matches the price tag. And we're going to see about the performance of these components in just a moment. The other thing I wanted to highlight is the after-sales support, because it doesn't matter whether you make a phone call or send an email or try to reach out via the chat on the website, you are going to end up talking to a real person, and most likely you're going to get decent support. At least that was my experience, a very positive one, when I was working on creating the whole video for you. So hopefully you're going to get the same grade of attention in case there is something wrong with your Noko e-bike. So I guess now it's time for more testing. Let's do what we do best and thoroughly check the most important components. The motor in the rear wheel is quite special. It's made by FSA, full speed ahead, fits within the required 250 watts and offers 5 assistant modes. It has integrated speedometer and torque sensor. I know that a usual question would be about unlocking the speed limit, but most of the hacks that you may find online will be rather useless here, and I strongly discourage you to do anything in this direction because you're going to void the warranty. The acceleration is very adequate, even if you shift to gear 11 at the 5th grade, there is notable support and it's very easy to get to the maximum 25 km/h threshold. Having a torque sensor makes the acceleration very pleasant, and given the light bike construction and the position of the body, it feels very similar to a mid-drive motor. Also, upon reaching the legal speed of around 25 km/h, there isn't the unpleasant feeling of hitting the brakes, quite common with many mid motors. This is because the FSA system HM10 is the only hub motor that has virtually no resistance when not engaged, with the system turned off in eco mode or with a drained battery, meaning that riding remains pleasant even when there is no electronic power left. The rear hub is backed by a Samsung battery and it can last really long. So long that I didn't have the patience to get a complete cycle due to the cold weather these days. Which is yet another good proof that even in wintertime, range is decent. I've been riding around 40 kilometers and the battery shows around half empty, so in summertime, with more pedaling, you can easily go beyond 100 kilometers in assisted mode. The integration of the whole electronics pack is so delicate that it's really hard to notice that the bike is electric. Just a small power button with LEDs around, the port for charging, and the rear hub, which is quite small at the same time. No wires around the frame, no clumsy mechanisms, it's all perfectly beautiful. The derailleur, being SRAM Apex, is also a rather entry-level setup. It does the job right. Actually, for 11 grade derailleur, it's doing a very decent job. Upgrades are of course possible because this one belongs to the purely mechanical components. Excellent quality of the pedals. My bike is equipped with hybrid ones, so if you have road bike shoes, that would be a good fit. Very good quality of the wheels and the tires. Press the type for the valves, which becomes more and more common these days. Keep the tires well inflated, this will guarantee better durability and better grip. As for braking, SRAM Level is the model of mine, very similar to the M200 by Shimano, in case this helps you to understand how good or bad they are. These are quality hydraulic brakes, and there are many classes above the performance of what most budget Chinese e-bikes are equipped with. With these typical road tires, riding on gravel roads is of course not that comfortable, but here the goal is to go over normal asphalt roads. This is why the bike has no suspension. The idea is to keep it as lightweight as possible. All Noko e-bikes arrive with front and rear light systems. They're optional. Unfortunately, they're not controlled by the bike's electronics. The saddle is good, comfortable, no quick release mount, which is a little annoying, but given the fact it's a road e-bike, I guess we can say this is acceptable. You also count on a smartphone app, and I was told that there are a lot more features coming in the next releases. If I could share with you what I find imperfect or something to be improved, I'm gonna start with the fact that there is no real-time speedometer. Such one would have been a nice option. The LEDs showing the charge of the battery are not that well visible, and sometimes you have to stare in order to see the actual status. And last but not least, I wish the derailleur used is a bit better than the one standardly deployed. But the paintwork, the build quality, the fact that each and every part is well described on Noko's official website, the service promise, and all these little things which stack together and turn this offer into something very tempting, which makes me say that, yeah, I can totally recommend the NOKOURBAN. And although a road e-bike is not really my kind of e-bike, because of the area where I live in and I prefer something more mountain-oriented, if you are in the city, this could be the perfect fit for you, especially if your location is somewhere around Europe. So that's everything about this review. It's been really positive experience. And in case you have some questions or something to say, comments are down below the video. There's gonna be a pretty good discount you're gonna find in the video description area. Also a link to the product and some ways how you can support our work that we do over here on the channel. Thank you very much for watching. If the video has brought you some new knowledge or has been useful by covering everything important about the NOKOURBAN, please subscribe. Means a lot. Thank you in advance. Wishes for a fantastic day, and I guess I'm gonna see you soon. Bye!